So we're starting from 16.4, chapter 16, text 4. Dambho darpo vimanascha krodha parushyam evacha ajnanam cha bhijatsa jattasya partha sampadam asurim. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. Purport. In this verse, the royal road to hell is described. The demoniac want to make a show of religion and spiritual science, although they do not follow the principles. They are always arrogant or proud in possessing some type of education or so much wealth. They desire to be worshipped by others and demand respectability, although they do not command respect. Over trifles, they become very angry and speak harshly, not gently. They do not know what should be done and what should not be done. They do everything whimsically, according to their own desire. They do not recognize any authority. These demoniac qualities are taken on by them from beginning of their bodies, in the wombs of the mothers, and as they grow, they manifest all these as inauspicious qualities. So pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, ignorance. What is pride? Can anyone define pride for me?
So confidence?
No, confidence is confidence. Pride is pride.
Thinking we are better than others.
Comparing and thinking we are better than others. Comparison mentality, okay? So pride is understanding of that which is not. So acknowledging one's false sense of identity. For example, somebody is good looking. So Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri. Janma as in born in a big family, legacy or whatnot. Aishwarya, wealth. Shruta, education. Shri, good looks. Right? Janma, Aishwarya, Shruta, Shri. These are indications of good birth, good karma, that they have these kind of things they're born with. And this often leads to pride. And when there is pride, that means that one identifies with the body and identifies that which is gifted with the body. True ego is, so false ego is that. True ego is understanding I am the soul, part and parcel of Krishna. On the material level, anything can go up and down. Today things are good, tomorrow things might not be good, day after things will be very good. It will keep changing. But on the spiritual platform, we are all equal, we are part and parcel of Krishna. That is humility. Humility is truth, honest understanding of one's honest true self. And pride is misunderstanding of one's true self. Understanding of oneself based on the false sense of identity. I'm a doctor, I'm educated, I'm tall, I'm that. So the false sense of identity, that is pride. Now, based on that false sense of identity, when we start looking at others and treating others badly, right? I'm better than you. That is arrogance. And then there is conceit, which is the cheating mentality. Right? That I know I'm not better than you, or I might not deserve something, but I will anyway push myself over it. I will grab something that I don't have legitimate access to, like Duryodhan did for the kingdom, right? He didn't deserve it, but he took advantage of the fact that the Pandavas didn't have a father, and he made it his right to not give them any kingdom. and there was a war and everything else. So conceit. Anger. So anger, harshness, these come when we are not in our senses, when we have lost control of our ability to reason. Often, when you're a parent or a teacher or in a leadership position, and you lose temper over those who are, uh, you know, dependent on you, it means you have lost control. When a parent is not able to reason enough, when I'm not able to answer the child or gone beyond the threshold of tolerance, right? That's when one says, I don't know, one yells, one shouts, sometimes, might even hit the child. So that means they've lost control. So arrogance, anger, these things are basically a sign of losing control. When we lose control, that's when that harshness comes out. One who's in control can do far more harsher things without getting angry, right? Like if you've seen those movies on the Italian dons and mafias, they very gently, softly will say, end their life, murder them, this, that, because they're fully in control. They don't get angry. They're cold-blooded, right? Versus a sign of losing control is where anger comes in and one shouts, yells, and it's they've kind of like they're not in their senses anymore, and they'll say or do things that might harm others and of course harm themselves. And this comes from ignorance. When we forget who we are, what we're doing, what is our relationship with others, it leads to this kind of situations. Ignorance means ignorance of our identity, that I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am, who I am. So as we have learned in chapter 2, that when we are overcome by lust, we overcome by, attraction for a certain outcome, and that outcome is not met, unmet expectation, therefore comes frustration. Frustration results in anger. So that anger, that losing of memory, that forgetting who I am and acting in ways that is demoniac in nature. Another example is, if you look at it, that when Lord Vishnu took on the form of Mohini Murti, right? When there was churning of the milk ocean, right? All these wonderful things came out, and there was nectar, and the asuras and the suras, the demigods and the demons, both wanted the nectar. Now, so there was a hack that was done. So Lord Vishnu was requested that, can you please do something so the demons don't drink the nectar, only the devotees do, the devatas do. So Lord Vishnu came in the form of such a beautiful, good-looking woman that the demons were overcome by lust. Because they were overcome by lust, they lost control of themselves. So any intense emotion leads to losing control of ourselves. So when they lost control of themselves, they could be manipulated. And that's when, the only person who didn't get so manipulated was Rahu. And he moved to the devotee side, the demigod side. And by mistake, he drank nectar to the neck, and his neck was, removed from the rest of the body. So point is, again, it's an example that demoniac nature means when one has lost control over things and one can easily manipulate it. So here, 16.5, it said, Daivi Sampad Vimokshaya Nibandhaya Sur Mata Ma Sucha Sampadam Daivim Abhijato Si Pandava. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. So Divine qualities, liberation. Demonic qualities, bondage. Bondage means more karma, more birth and death, birth and death. But Krishna is saying, don't worry, O son of Pandu, you're born with divine qualities. Davau bhuta sargau lokesmin daiva asura evacha daivo vistarasa prokta asuram partha mesranu. O son of Pritha, in this world, there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demoniac. So Pritha is Kunti Devi. So Arjuna is being referred to as son of Pritha. In this world, there are two kinds of created beings. You're either a devotee or a demon. Right? So sometimes we look for gray areas, right? And there are gray areas. But if you are a fundamentalist Vaishnava, then you will use this Bhagavad Gita verse to come to the conclusion that either you're a demon or you're a devotee, and there is nobody in the middle, right? So, and you wouldn't be wrong, honestly say, because either you are Krishna conscious or you're not. So, so the divine qualities was detailed, and now we are talking about demoniac qualities. Okay. Somebody joined from College Park resident. May I know who this person is? Because the name is not visible. Who is College Park resident?
That would be my location. My name is Hitesh.
Hitesh? Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Hitesh? How are you connected?
I connected with you from Facebook.
That's okay. So you're in the Philosophy Friday group?
Yeah, I'm in the Philosophy Friday group. I may not join regularly, but I'm in US.
Okay, just so you know, I'm going to, this chapter 16 is a little heavy. It talks a little bit of the negative qualities. So I hope it's, if you are having difficulties understanding it, do ask questions. Okay?
Sure, yeah. Yep.
This is an advanced chapter, so I'm just being a little cautious before going into it. The demoniac qualities. All right. So let's discuss the demoniac qualities. 16.7. Pravittim cha nivrittim cha jana na vidur asuraha na saucham na pi chacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So, to have the right understanding of what is to be done at what time, for example, charity. When you go to a temple, it is important that you go to the temple. After that, you do charity, right? So charity has time, place, and circumstance. Let's say there are certain days we fast. That has time, place, and circumstance. There are, certain austerities we do. That has time, place, and circumstance. So everything, for example, medicines, fruits, certain fruits at certain time of the day, like it is said, if you have orange in the morning, it is considered to be golden. The same orange, if we have at night, according to Ayurveda, apparently is supposed to be poisonous, right? So knowing what to do when and what not to do when comes from scriptural knowledge. Standardized scriptures give proper knowledge about what to do, what not to do. People who are whimsical, right? Who just do things just because, that kind of mentality is being referred to as demoniac, not divine, right? We have discussed in length what is divine nature, and now we are talking about demoniac nature. So those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. So they don't know what is cleanliness. What is proper cleanliness? Like, for example, those of us who are serious practitioners, it is, there are certain levels of cleanliness standards. For example, where we wash our hands before eating, we take a bath after we pass stool, right? We don't get out of the bathroom without taking a shower. We shower at least once a day, if not twice a day, if not thrice a day, right? So there are levels of cleanliness that are there. We wear clean clothes every day after taking a shower. So all of these are there. Then there are thoughts, cleanliness of thoughts. What are the thoughts we are thinking about who we are thinking, Then there is behavior. Cleanliness of thoughts leads to behavior. How we behave, who we behave with, what kind of behavior. So all of this has a lot to do with the nature of the person. A person being a divine nature or demoniac nature. You will notice that people who have been chanting for a long time, practicing for a long time, by default, you can see that they are behaviorally, cleanliness-wise, many other ways different. Like, for example, my mentor says that scripture will say that wherever a Brahmana goes, a Brahmana makes that place, when he leaves, that place is cleaner than what it used to be. And when a Shudra goes to a place, that place is, less cleaner than it used to be. You go to many places like beaches and things like that. You'll see people come in, the beach is pristine. When they leave, there is all these bottles and straws and all these dirty things leaving behind. There are people who are divine nature. They will actually pick up those dirty things and put them in the dustbin, like, because they cannot tolerate uncleanliness. That's a divine nature. They can't tolerate uncleanliness, right? So these are indications with which we can say, this person has divine nature versus this person is more used to demoniac nature. 16.8. Any questions so far? Just wanted to quickly pause and check. So these can be seen as judgmental and I can understand. So feel free to ask anything. No questions? Okay, moving on. Asatyam aparisthitam te jagat ahur anishvaram aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kama haitukam. Translation. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. I have personally experienced this. People actually talking about, the world being like, oh, God is dead, right? The ultimate destination, ultimate thing is having sense gratification, and the ultimate sense gratification is sex desire. And that is it. The more you can enjoy, the better off you are, and that is life. That is the conclusion. That is how our mentality of demoniac nature do come to conclusions that is it and there is nothing else. There's no God in control. Now, my question to you would be, how do you, if you are confronted with such a person, how would you react to such a person when they say there is no God in control and there is no foundation, this world is unreal, just eat, sleep, make, defend, it's all chemicals, right? I'm sure you've heard that. So how do you answer or how do you react to such a person? Anyone?
There has been multiple occasions where I have been confronted with people saying, hey, this is all chemistry, it came from Big Bang, and it just exists and it is. And without anything, they say, okay, like there is nobody needed. The only thing is like, can a car engine exist on its own? Can it just build itself with a destructive you say the Big Bang created the universe, like can create something out of a destructive chaos. Like, so if a car engine needs a sophisticated engineering design, R&D, and lots of stuff, then how can you say the most complex structure is the nature, where the water cycle, all the cycles are going on, and human body and other animal bodies are just existing in itself, right? They're self-reliant. How can that much sophisticated design be existing on itself if there is no intelligent designer there?
Okay, great. Pradeep Prabhu, how would you respond when somebody says no God is in control?
Actually, what I would say is it's their belief. They need more realization. And when they will realize it, they will start believing that there is God. It's
But
just
no
that
God is in control. How do you prove there is higher control?
it is in every aspect of life. Means we don't have to right from complex machines to complex beings, or right from our thought process. Means we say when there is Krishna, Krishna is doing, means I my boundary and sorry, मीन्स अगर मैं ये कहूं कि मेरी जगह जो है, मेरा क्या है, मैं सिर्फ पार्ट ऑफ कृष्णा हूं और बाकी सब कृष्णा का है, तो मैं जितना स्ट्रेस रिलीव महसूस करता हूं उतना बाकी सब चीजों में नहीं आता है. मतलब अगर मैं बोलता हूं ये मेरा फैक्ट्री है, मेरा घर है, तो उसमें मुझे स्ट्रेस आता है उसे डिफेंड करने का. तो ये एक छोटी सी चीज से ही हमें पता चल जाता है कि कहीं ना कहीं वो चीज ट्रू है जहां पे हम पीस फाइंड करते हैं और ये अनट्रू है. तो अगर वो ट्रू है तो ऑब्वियसली गॉड है, तभी वो ट्रू है. वो सारी थ्योरी करेक्ट है.
Okay. Chandrima, how would you prove that there is some higher control?
Prabhuji, if there wouldn't have been higher control, then how? I mean, this entire creation is proof that no man has ever done anything of this. This whole
But let's
creation.
say, Chandrima, you are with some people who are genuine students of Bhagavad Gita. Their faith is a little weak, and some atheist is challenging you. There is no God, there is no higher control. It's all what we do, what it is. We are born, we die. That's it. It's all about the highest thing is sex desire, and there's nothing more to it than that in life. So now you have all these people look watching you. How are you going to simply and easily refute their argument that there is no higher control? If somebody says, how would you refute their argument simply and easily?
Prabhuji, few days back only there was a viral video where a small kid is, explaining that all these planetary systems, if gravity would have been little less or little more, it would have gone and collided with others. How come every planet is rotating and revolving at the same time but not colliding with each other? So it's not possible that everything is up to exact mark, right? Everything is under control. No asteroids or anything doesn't ever come and collide. So everything is in a controlled manner, going in their own pace. So that itself defines that. I mean, that's what inspired me a lot. Although in that video that I'm talking about, they are not what to say, they are not devotees. As through science point of view only, they are explaining that everything is such in place that nobody has an answer to it, not even science. So that's how, I mean,
Okay.
that would be my argument there.
Okay. Prayash?
Probably there are different kinds of people around. There are some purely logical so-called people who would not believe in the existence, even if we give logical proofs. And there are people who are truly intelligent, will ask questions and trying to figure out a higher truth. The first question, the answer I gave, the first one, it will be applicable for the people who are more curious to know, and they will be more inclined towards changing their perspectives if they find a more logical and reasonable answer to it. But the people who think they are logical, they have, let's say, a lot of degrees and stuff. One of the other arguments that there is. So basically, what I like to do is, like, say, I just draw a circle there, and they say, if every knowledge possible is there to learn, let's say we quantify every knowledge which is there to be known is in this circle, right? And you, let's say, becoming a PhD, and you are becoming an expert, let's say 10 years experience you have, right? How much in this knowledge pool do you think that you know of? How much knowledge that you do have? Let's say, let's draw a pie chart, and they draw a small pie chart, and they'll say, okay, cool, so you know a little bit of the whole knowledge you believe in, right? So the next logical conclusion is, so could there be possible that the god exists in the other half, on the other part, which your knowledge is not there?
Okay. I wasn't asking about God exists. I was asking more about control, which is easier proven than God. That is there higher control in this life. Okay, Pradeep Prabhu, go ahead.
Prabhuji, if we read Bhagavad Gita, means if anyone is challenging something or a higher control exists or do not exist, when we are reading Bhagavad Gita, whatever it is written, it is so logical. It clears everything. So it is spoken by Krishna. So obviously there is Krishna. Means I don't think that there is no control like that.
Okay, all right. Neera Mataji?
Prabhuji, I'm just thinking on a very simple level that on a day-to-day basis, a lot of things that go on in our life, we notice all the time that there is an unseen hand, that there is some other, power that controls things. And, our plans don't always fall the way. Otherwise, whatever we had planned and how we had organized certain activities, they would go accordingly. But things don't happen that way. And we believe that things happen because of the grace of God, and that strengthens our belief.
So, just to make things simple, when people ask that question, oh, there is no control, there is no other thing. And I'm like, okay, if there is no higher control, try one day locking yourself up and not going to the bathroom. Try one day, not sleeping, not eating, see how it feels. See who's in control, you are or something else is. Maybe not God, maybe nature, but there is higher control, right? It's not very hard to perceive higher control, especially those who are married can always tell how their spouses control them, right? Everybody's being controlled. The bosses are controlling. Some people are controlled by love. Even Krishna is controlled by his loving devotees. So there's always higher control. Yes, God is the highest control, but then even God is controlled by those who love him, right? So there is higher control, and that can be easily understood. For example, we have controlled everything, almost everything. But when it comes to a thunderstorm, when it comes to earthquake, when it comes to a volcano, we can't control that. So there is higher control. So constantly we are being defeated. California is the most advanced state in US, and every year there is fire in the California forests. And with all the technology in Silicon Valley, they have not figured out how to not have fires in California forests, right? So nature, just Mother Nature, who's a servant of Krishna, not even Krishna, we are defeated by nature every single day, day in, day out. So there is higher control from Mother Nature, and Mother Nature is controlled by Krishna. So there's even higher control by the Supreme Lord. So it is not very hard to prove, right? So when we're dealing with people who might be going in the wrong direction and are overcome with demoniac tendency due to lack of knowledge, we don't have to go too deep into philosophy. It is important that we talk to people at their level and help them understand from their vantage point that, look at you. Do you have full control over your life? Yes, I do. Well, try not going to the bathroom, like a simple thing. You can't. It's so difficult. You might not go for a day. Second day, third day, you're done. So it's we have to, as we preach Krishna consciousness, we learn to share Krishna consciousness. It is important that we become very, very, we take complex ideas, simplify them, and make them relatable and relevant in people's lives, thereby help them build faith that, the Bhagavad Gita is saying something, maybe that makes sense. Let me read more. That's how people get attracted when they see that there is logic in the statements. Okay. All right. 16.9. Etam drishtim avastabhya nastat mano lipa buddhaya prabhavanti ugra karmana kshaya jagato hitaha. Following such conclusions, the demoniac, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. When you come to the conclusion that there is no higher power, there is no control, everything is run by sex desire, when you come to that conclusion, so one is kind of lost in having no intelligence. There is a famous philosopher who came to the conclusion that it is all pointless. Why do we live? Life has no meaning, life has no purpose. So one day he drove his car off the cliff and committed suicide because he was so convinced that life is pointless. Living is pointless. It doesn't make any sense. He couldn't find a good reason because he lost intelligence, right? Nobody taught him the Bhagavad Gita. He couldn't find that, there is a purpose to life. And I'm going to ask you this question. What do you think is the purpose to life, right? Why do we do that we do? Many of us are doing it because we have kids. Many of us are doing it because we want to enjoy life. But honestly, what is the ultimate purpose? Why are we doing what we are doing? Is there a point to all the sacrifices we do and the hard work we do and the things we are doing? Yes, Pradeep Prabhu.
Purpose of life, from my point of view, is to find happiness.
Okay. Purpose of life is to find happiness. Then what do you do with that happiness?
Happiness is the goal. What
And then
we have to do?
Once you found happiness, now what? You just stay happy.
Yes, that's the thing.
I'm happy. Oh. So happiness is actually 0.0, right? From negative, we come to 0, which is happiness. From difficult.
Can I tell Hare Krishna?
I'm coming there. And then comes service.
Yeah.
There's action. Okay, go ahead, Amit Prabhu. You seem to be eager.
Yeah. Actually, my why are you come is मतलब जन्म लिया हूँ, जाना मुझे कहाँ है, मेरा संबंध गॉड से क्या है, तो पर्पज ऑफ लाइफ नहीं होगी तब तक हम ऐसे भटकते रहते हैं लाइफ में। जैसे बात
Okay, all right. Thank you, Amit Prabhu. Yes, Prayash. Thank you, Amit Prabhu. Actually, Sunai nahi de raha, Amit Prabhu, because there's an internet connectivity issue. I'm not able to hear you properly. But I heard you, that finding the purpose of life, understanding God, understanding the philosophy, I think that's what you meant, roughly. Am I right? Okay. Yes, Prayash, go ahead.
Prabhuji, we are in this material world because we wanted to come here for the experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
So our ultimate goal is to go back to Godhead. and by the time the life purpose should be like the time that we are here, our purpose should be to have experiences, spiritual experiences, different experiences, maybe because we try to find happiness, but then it's not always there, right? It's just about going through the life and then having spiritual experiences, reminding Krishna, and having having him in mind, having Krishna consciousness, and doing good for the world. And basically that's pretty much what life is about.
Okay. All right. Anybody else wants to add?
For me, Prabhuji, right now, I think my purpose is mainly to be in Krishna consciousness and to work on better karmas, and basically that.
Okay. What is Krishna's purpose? Does anybody
To
have
be with us.
to be with us? Yeah. Okay. What else?
To get us all back to Vaikuntha.
Yes. Claim us back to home. Paritrana sadhunam vinashachit duskritam. Correct the miscreants and sustain the devotees and help us come back home. The lost kids, come back home, back to God. Yes. So that's Krishna's purpose. And our purpose is to also reconnect with Krishna and have a loving exchange where there is love and trust, give and take exchange between the Supreme Lord and us. And that's what we are practicing every day, offering bhoga, offering prayers of gratitude, right? Offering our hearts to Krishna, offering Krishna's words to others. So that makes Krishna happy, right? So there is this actions in this loving relationship. A loving relationship is not a passive relationship, it's an active relationship. And in that loving relationship, the happiness, Pradeep Prabhu, that we experience is in those actions, when there is action and reciprocation, like a child, right? A new parent, when it does something and the child gives that very sweet, divine smile. For that smile, the parents can do practically anything, right? They can unturn any stone just to see the baby smile, just to see the baby being comfortable, right? That is active service. That is bhakti. Bhakti means active devotional service. So we experience happiness in that process as we go along. So happiness is all the goal. The happiness is the means, right? The service to Krishna is seva, is our goal, and is also the means, right? We want to make Krishna happy, and in that there is active service. And the more we do, the more we want to do it, the more taste we have, the more reciprocation we receive from Krishna, we get addicted to the process of bhakti, because such is the attractive nature of all attractive Krishna. Akarshati iti Krishna. Krishna doesn't mean black, Krishna means all attractive. So because his attractive nature is such that when we associate with Krishna, we get addicted to his association, and we want to do more and more and more and more.
Prabhuji,
yes,
in
Prabhu.
that case, if we can feel, even on Bhuloka,
Yes.
feel like Vaikuntha.
Exactly my point. You don't have to die to experience all this. That's why we are in bhakti. Why do you think we are spending our Friday nights together? Because we are enjoying something. That's why we come together.
Yeah, what I understood, I will repeat. Means what you are saying is, if we are doing something from that give and take relationship, we derive happiness. So if this give and take relationship is with Krishna, then we feel ultimate happiness. And for this ultimate happiness, we are means in Vaikuntha there is ultimate happiness.
No, here also. We are doing give and take here also. Yeah.
So we can feel like Vaikuntha in Bhuloka itself.
We can feel Vaikuntha in planet Earth, in our homes.
Planet Earth, yes.
in Kolhapur, where you are, in Calcutta, where I am.
Yes.
That is Goloka, that is Vaikuntha, when we experience that joy. Vrindavan is not just a place in UP. Vrindavan is wherever there is Krishna and his devotees having loving exchange with each other.
Definitely. Very wonderful experience.
All right. Anything else? Any other sweet wisdom anybody wants to share? Okay. We'll continue with the verses.
I have a question.
Yes, Chandan.
Prabhuji, so like few verses back, Krishna said either a person is divine or demoniac, right? So, lot of time while we are, still trying to become as devotees, or we are still like aspiring, right? We are not pure devotees. So, where do we fall? Because we still have lot of, you know, qualities which do not fall under divine qualities. We are still striving to, so are we demoniac, or like how do we
Depends on the time of the day. Sometimes we act in a demoniac way, sometimes we act in a divine way. Both are within us. It's not a scriptural saying, but there is a saying in the devotee community that, in the Satya Yoga, the devotees and demons lived in different planetary systems. In the Treta Yoga, they were in the same planet fighting amongst each other. In the Dwapar Yoga, they were in the same country fighting with each other. And in Kali Yoga, they're in the same body.
Yeah.
Right? So there is the divine and there's the demoniac fighting with each other. The concept, the ideas constantly within the mind. I should do this. No, let's do this for a second. It's okay, nobody's watching. Right? So the divine and the demoniac is within us. And sometimes we act in this way, sometimes we act in that way. That's why we call Tatashta Shakti, right? Because we can be divine, we can be demoniac. So it depends on how we are acting, and according to that, we are what we are at that particular time.
Okay.
But hopefully, we are moving more towards divinity, less demoniac, more divinity, less demoniac. And eventually, we become purely divine, and no more demoniac qualities can reside within our hearts.
Right.
Then it's a transition.
Yes.
Mishra Bhaktas, mixed devotees. That's who we are. We're not pure devotees yet.
Yeah. And one more thing, Prabhuji. So there are, devotees, very senior devotees, but so everybody is trying to follow Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptural,
Injunctions.
So still there are, misunderstandings, and everybody has their own set of ideas. So if everybody is following what is prescribed, then and they are doing their best to abide by those injunctions, I mean, how is this misunderstandings and everything is creeping in? Is it because of Maya, or like
Because everybody is not. It's not possible to be that everybody, the whole society, everybody is perfectly following it. Some people are following this much, some people are following this much, some people are following this much, right? Depending on our spiritual maturity, depending on where we are, we're following to that extent possible. And to that extent, we are reaping the benefits. Like, for example, if you look at the ISKCON structure, there is the governing body, right? The governing body commission, GBC. Are there conflicts within the GBC? Yes. But at the end of the day, they pass a resolution. They all act as one unified voice for service to Srila Prabhupada. Right? Even if they have discrepancies within, end of the day, they will all do kirtan together. They will all sing and dance together. They might have their arguments, but the arguments are at the table. At the end of the day, they're friends again. So these aspects happen because the Bhagavad Gita is being applied in their lives. And just like even in Mahabharata, if you see, during the day till dusk, they would fight, they would kill each other. But right after dusk, they will actually, the both Kauravas and the Pandavas would sit together, have very wonderful, gentle discussions. They would have very cordial interactions. They would go to each other's tents, right? Fighting time, they will kill each other. But evening time, when it's not fighting time, they can easily interact with each other. And that is a sign of Vedic, aristocratic, evolved civilization. That is evolved civilization, where you can disagree. At the same time, you don't forget who you are and you can act as friends. So when we look at it, yes, there are all these things, but there's a benefit of Bhagavad Gita because people are following to whatever degree. You can see those benefits are also there, right? Versus in the dirty material aspect of things, it is far, far worse. It's far, far worse. So not everybody is at the same level. Not everybody is sincerely following also. So you have to understand that. So depending on where we are in our spiritual consciousness, accordingly, we are doing the best possible. In Kali Yuga, yes, you said Maya. Maya also has influence. She's constantly fighting hard to influence us. So within all of this, the struggling jiva is, who's perplexed in multiple directions. There is some mercy and one is holding on, and slowly, some things are moving in some direction. It is hard to do anything in Kali Yuga, to be honest. Right? But Bhagavad Gita, to the degree we absorb it, to the degree we apply it, it makes life a little easier.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare
Harish.
Okay, anything else? Okay. Next verse, 16:10. Kaman asritya dushpuram dambhamana madanvita mohad grahi vasad grahan pravartane suchi vrataha. Take shelter. Prabhu, your mic is not muted. Take shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in conceit of pride and false prestige. The demoniac, thus illusion, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Taking shelter of insatiable lust. So one can act as per love for Krishna, or one can act as per pulled by the lust, to satisfy one's lust. The entire world, if you look at it, is working to satisfy one's lust. I will do this, and that will lead to this, and it will lead to better sex. It will lead to a better partner, a better good-looking spouse, or a good-looking girlfriend, or a boyfriend, or this and that. Right? So it is important that we understand, what are we driven by? Are we driven by love for Krishna, or are we driven by, fulfilling lusty desires? So saying, taking shelter of insatiable, because lusty desires are insatiable, you can't satisfy. The more you try to satisfy, the more the desires grow. The more you try to satisfy, the more the desires grow. So taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in conceit of pride. The conceit means cheating propensity of pride. Pride means that which is not, right? I am just a soul, part and parcel of Krishna, but I'm thinking I am the most powerful person. I am the most this, I'm the most that. Do you know who I am? Do you know who my dad is? Do you know who my uncle is? Right? Conceit of pride and false prestige, false sense of ego. The demoniac person, thus illusioned, right, not in reality, are always sworn to unclean work, activities that are not clean in nature, attracted by the impermanent, attracted by that which is not permanent. What is impermanent? Give me an example. What are we running after? Something that is impermanent. Give me an example.
Material beauty, Prabhuji.
Yes. Today somebody looks very, very pretty. Tomorrow that same person has, the skin is sagging, they have gotten fat, they've gotten, they don't look the same anymore. But when we go for it, we go after their beauty, then the beauty changes, right? Then we want somebody else who has that beauty, and that beauty changes. Then we go after somebody else. So we're constantly in this rat race, right? Going after the impermanent happiness, impermanent assets. And we are not happy. We are in illusion, and we go after, attracted by the impermanent aspects of life, things that will not stay with us forever. Any questions on this? Anything? Anybody wants to add any wisdom?
Prabhuji, I had a
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
So beauty is defined by past karma, right?
Okay. It can be enhanced by current karma also, if you've heard of plastic surgery.
I mean, if it is not, right? If somebody is, let's say, looking beautiful in this life, right? There must have been, or they're, let's say, rich, right? So there must have been done some good karma in the past, or in this life, whatever they have done, which actually led them to the current life that they're leading right now. So would it be a terrible idea to be associated with them because, or not because they are like beautiful, or they have a lot of money and they're doing charity, or because they have done good karma, which association of which you can also get influenced by and get motivated and inspired by them to do more?
So you associate with somebody who's good looking because they have good karma, and you might get influenced to do good karma. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, not just because of beauty, maybe because of like the outcomes of good karma. Let's say they are rich, right? Let's say they are good looking. Let's say they have generosity, they are kind, right? All these things.
These are all very attractive things, and it in this world they are attractive. That's why people go associate with these people. That is a natural tendency. Is these qualities are attractive, but these qualities also attract toxicity. A, there is pride internally, and B, there is envy. For those who don't have it, they find envy. So there are the negative aspects also. But I'm not saying it's good or bad. Associate, we give our association to everyone. Even if it is a person is the worst of mankind, we are here to give our association. We don't take association from materialistic minded people. We take association only from spiritually minded people, strongly spiritual minded people. But with everyone else, we give association as devotees. What happens in the material world, that's different. Yeah. People associate with those who have money, those who have beauty, those who have power, those who have renunciation, all of those things. Yeah, that's why Akarshate Krishna. Krishna has all these potencies in full. Right? All beauty, all strength, all renunciation, all fame, all knowledge, all, yeah, sure. That's why it's attractive. That's what attracts people. But do we want to associate just because somebody is pretty or somebody is knowledgeable, somebody is very rich to get that association? Okay. I mean, that sounds like an excuse. I'm not saying we shouldn't associate, but is that the reason to associate? Depends on the person. I really can't comment on that. I mean, that's a personal.
Like like I was wondering, like we associate with everyone, right? Like we don't judge people if they are
we give association to everyone,
right? So because
we don't associate, we give association. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. We don't take association, we give association. We might be walking hand in hand with a murderer. We don't take their association, we give our association, so they transform. They don't get to transform us. That's very important. So we don't associate, we give association.
So that's with people, that's with people, right?
Are you talking about animals?
Hang on 1 second. Yes, no, I mean, let's say I'm associating with you, right? And I'm getting to learn so much things, right? So I'm not giving you association, you are giving association to me, right? So similarly, let's say I have a friend who wants to, let's say, get into Krishna consciousness, or he doesn't have an idea, right? So I give association to him. right? But then the law of average, if I spend more time with people who are who I am giving association to, then I am losing the touch with my who I can potentially be, right? So I'm asking
Both are important. Taking association and giving association.
There has to be a balance, right?
There has to be a balance. So unless you take association, eventually you will start taking association from those who you're giving to.
Yes.
And their ways of thinking, their ways of things will influence you.
Yes.
Versus, you know who you look up to,
Mm-hmm.
and their association is what you look up to, versus you're giving association to those who look up to you.
Yes. Absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sure. It's 8:30, so I'll pause here. We're not going into the next verse, so we'll start from 16:11 next week. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful weekend.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.